Well, hello. Did anybody miss us? Have you missed us at all? Comment underneath and let us know did you miss us. So big welcome back to everybody. We're delighted to be back here tonight and happy Thursday. So we better do the check-in. So anybody that's watching, let us know where you're watching in from. And obviously we want the weather forecast because it's unusual for us to be on in the evening time. And believe it or not, in Dublin, it is a fabulous summer evening. I think it's autumn now, but it's absolutely, the sun is shining. The sky is bluish, you know, that way. And it's fabulous evening if you wanted to go out for a walk. But don't go out for a walk because we want you to hang on here for a little while. Anybody commenting so far?
Lots of comments. Lots of people missed me already.
Brilliant,
Janette,
brilliant.
yes. Sarah Jones is watching in. Oh, Sarah from the UK.
Hiya, Sarah. How are you?
Mel is watching in from the UK and she says it's sunny over there.
Lovely.
Let me see who else.
So there's no shite weather. I hear you all got the
weather.
shite weather when I was off sunning myself in Lanzarote. But as far as I know, I think the next few days is going to be lovely in Dublin. So please God and fingers crossed. So what have we got planned for you this evening? So we've lots of giveaways, okay? So make sure that you stay tuned and listen to what we say because always the answer is always mentioned at some stage. And I might as well tell you now, the question or the answer to the question has already been mentioned, okay? So we're going to give away 3 of our online programs this evening. And it's going to be the online program, the standalone program, how to do a mock hand-tied arrangement. Now, I am going to demonstrate a mock hand-tied arrangement, but you will find the difference of our online tutorials when we're doing them commercially is we go into every little detail, like you see the arrangement from every angle, zoomed in, where you do find during the live demonstrations, and I know you enjoy the live classes, okay? But with these live classes, obviously we don't have the manpower. We're zooming in and watching it from different angles, and we're having the chats with you.
We don't have the technology.
We don't have the technology to do it, and we haven't got
I'm not that good.
and we haven't got the manpower either. So I am going to demonstrate a mock hand-tied arrangement to you this evening, okay? But obviously you're not going to get all the little tips and tricks, you know what I mean, that I would show on the online tutorial programs. But what we're going to do is 3 people this evening are going to win that course, okay? And if there's anybody watching and that you're a member of the Bloom Studio, make sure that you pop over to the Bloom Studio because there was a fabulous giveaway for everyone in the audience over in the Bloom Studio this evening. But don't go anywhere, stay here. And also, I want to see all them shares going up, okay? So lots of thumbs up, lots of comments, share the love, okay? And share this video because we need to get this video out because we've been missing for the last couple of weeks and we want to kind of build up our algorithms again.
Okay, so we have Amanda is watching in. Greetings from West Cork. Lovely to see you back. Jenny Bombeni, we haven't seen her in ages.
Well, it was her husband's birthday yesterday
Oh,
or the day before.
right. Well, she says she's very jealous of your tan. Karen is watching and she says it's lovely to see us back. Oh, Eileen is on. Eileen, you said Eileen wasn't going to be able to see us.
No, Eileen, no, she sent me a message. Eileen Dempsey, no, she sent me a message to say she was looking forward to this evening. Got lots of messages today. Really must have been missed. So, also, just in front of me here, for anybody that missed it, the Woman's Way, it's still in the shops, okay? And we actually got a 3-page article. So my big fat mush is there lots of times, and it's showing you step by step how to make a flower arrangement, but it also gives a lot of the history of how the school started. So if you're in the newsagent, pick up the Woman's Way and you can have a look through that as well. Also, I know you said somebody was from Cork. One of our students from Cork, Louise Moran, okay, she has a fabulous company called Flourish Emporium, and they do, well, what she does is these amazing scented candles. Now, you might like Joe Malone candles, but I'm telling you, you're going to change over now to Louise Moran's candles. So she goes under the hashtag, every scent tells a story, okay? So these would be make fabulous wedding presents for somebody. And again, when they get that scent, that's like their wedding scent, if you understand. And the one that I have here today is lime, basil, and mandarin, okay? And I have one at home as well, and I'm burning it at home, and it smells amazing. But she gave us this one to give away. So what I've done, so there's lots of giveaways this evening, is over on the Instagram page, okay?
Your Instagram.
My Instagram page, which is
Kay's Online Flower School.
Kay's Online Flower School. Sinead probably put the link up later on. I have posted a photograph of Louise's candles, Flourish Emporium. And what I wanted to do is maybe go over and follow her page and we'd love if you actually shared the post, okay? And let's say if somebody puts the little hashtag, every cent tells a story. And what we'll do is tomorrow, we'll pick a winner tomorrow, okay? But we are going to pick the winners this evening for the free online course, how to do the mock hand tied. Now, the mock hand tied can be made, and when we say mock hand tied, it's in Dublin, we use this word letting on. Does any of you use that word? You know that way? I think it is a real Dublin word. I don't even know how you spell it, okay? If anybody knows how to spell it, letting on, we kind of, so letting on. And it means pretend, by the way, in case we've any Americans watching.
We have a few. We have people watching from Oklahoma. We have people watching from Canada. So they're really going to be
And you're eligible to win this course as well, okay? So a letting on hand-tied, okay, or a mock hand-tied, mock is being pretend. It looks like a bouquet of flowers, but it's actually made in floral foam. And it could be made in chicken wire, and it could be made as a natural hand-tied. And normally on the online tutorial, I show how to make them on spray trays, and they make amazing grave arrangements or funeral sprays or coffin spray arrangements. And you can use this single spray tray, or you can use a double spray tray, or you can also do it on a smaller scale. This is called a shovel container, and it can be done as a pew end arrangement, or again, a little mini grave arrangement. But just to be different this evening, I'm going to throw these on the floor. I'm going to use a basket, okay? So this could be a sympathy basket, a grave basket, a happy birthday basket, or welcome home from your holidays basket.
Where are we on holidays?
Lanzarote.
All right. Yeah.
Okay, so listen there. So these are a set of baskets. Have you got the story? You're copping on, okay? So these are sets of baskets. They come in sets of 3, and I'm going to use the larger one, okay? So what I have here is a frog's leg. I call them a frog's leg. Lots of flowers call them prongs, and they are right. They're just telling me over to move over to one side. So this is called a frog's leg, or a Cindy stool. We used to call them Cindy stools years ago.
Ava Malloy says she's letting on to clean her windows at the moment.
Exactly. So you can see now, she's obviously a dub. She is. She knows the word letting on. How do you spell it, Avril, by the way? And what I'm rolling around in my hands here is a little bit of Oasis Fix, okay? Which you roll around, you make a little ball, you stick it to the end of the prong or the frog's leg. And I'm purposely going to be over to one side of the basket. I'll hold it up now. I'm not actually putting it in the middle. Can you see that I'm a little bit over to one side? And now I have a block of floral foam, which I've already soaked, okay? And I'm going to cut it in half. So using an Oasis knife, but any knife will do for your kitchen press, cut the block in half. You can see there it just breaks off, it snaps. I'm cutting off the 4 corners. These are what we call wedgies to our students. And I'm peeling around the top there, giving it a good pair.
Avril said Lettin space ON.
That's perfect. Absolutely.
Perfect English.
Perfect English. Absolutely. So again, I'm placing the, thanks for that, Avril. I'm placing the floral foam on top of the frog's leg, and you can see it's slightly over to one side. And I'm going to cut off our little tag made in Taiwan. And our little wedgies, we're going to throw them in the bin. These are all in the magic bin, okay? Next thing what you need is some wires. And I'm going to use 20 gauge wires, and I'm going to use our gutted tape. You need to dry your hands, okay? So you get your gutted tape. Now we do have a video on YouTube showing step by step how to gutted tape, just for anybody that doesn't know how to do it. So what you do is you get 2 20 gauge wires, and you place them side by side. Using your gutted tape, you catch it around the top, and this looks easier than it actually is. The stretching of the tape makes it sticky, and it's kind of like a roll and pull technique. But we don't want to drag it on too long here, because I think the YouTube tutorial is about 15-20 minutes long, and it's going to show you exactly how you get that technique.
You know, I think evening demos are very popular. We've 191 people watching.
Oh my God!
On Facebook.
Well, see, they don't miss me. Where was I on the holidays again, dear?
Where'd you say where was it?
Where we were. Anyway, the question later on will be, where was I on my holidays, okay? And we're going to randomly pick people. So it doesn't matter if you're in Oklahoma, Dublin letting on cleaning your windows, or County Mayo. It doesn't matter where you are, you have a chance. And you never know, if you talk nice to Deirdre, she could stick a 4th one in there, right? So while you're putting in the comments where I was on holidays, and remember, we want to see the shares. If there's 190 people watching, I want to see 190 shares. And remember, you can share more than once, by the way. So I'm now going to get my wire covered in gutted tape. I'm sticking it in through the basket, the wicker of the basket, and just twisting it around. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring the wire over to the far side of the basket. But a little trick for you here, turn the basket around, okay? And it's easier for you to do this on the flat of the table. I'm holding it up so you can see what I'm doing. So I've stuck it through the opposite side of the basket. And now I'm going to use my boobs, okay, my chest, and I'm going to squeeze the basket a little bit tighter so I can pull that wire tight, but without it slicing through the floral foam. And then I'm going to twist the wire around itself. And when I release the booby doobies, you can see the way it's nice and secure. But if you've ever done a class with me, I'm always saying to the students to be sure, to be feckin' well sure. Anybody able to spell feckin'? Feckin' is another Dublin word, by the way, okay? So to be sure, to be feckin' well sure. So that's why I'm going to put a second wire going across it. Now, my wires are crisscrossing, but listen, if your wires are horizontal, vertical, diagonal, it really makes no difference at all. And again, I'm just twisting the wire around. I just never trust the one wire. And it did happen to me one day at a garden centre, and I suppose when things happen, it sticks in your mind. And I put one wire across the basket, and I said, this is to stop the floral foam falling out, swung the feckin' basket, and the floral foam ended down the end of the hall, you know, that way. So that's why, to be sure, we put our two wires going across it. Now, the larger or more open side of the basket, I'm holding away from me. Now, foliage-wise tonight, I'm going to use some eucalyptus. Now, the eucalyptus is still kind of fairly young, the new growth, you know, that way. The growers are cutting it, and maybe you're cutting it out of your own garden as well. But just be careful, you know what I mean? It still is not lasting as long, but I have a cut, so that's what I'm going to use. So I'm using a piece of eucalyptus, and resting down on the lower part of the basket, I'm going to have this piece of greenery facing away from me. Anything to tell us there, Deirdre?
No, well, there's lots of the correct answers coming in. Everybody was listening, and some people said you were electing on to be there.
I think they definitely have.
But on your Instagram, we don't have a winner yet, so there's very few people commenting on your Instagram, and there's a good few people watching.
Okay, so get over to my Instagram and give us a few follows. Deirdre is up nearly at 7,000 followers, and I'm still at only 4,000. And listen, I'm the star of the show here.
Back off.
So what a few followers. So pop over to Kay's. Oh, I can never remember the name of my own feckin' page. So what I'm doing now is just where the handle is, I'm resting in two pieces of greenery. And these kind of pieces of greenery are kind of slightly on an angle, and they are overflowing the basket. A little bit bigger than you would normally do for a typical design, but this is not a typical design basket. And then just below
I'm laughing the same names are coming up over on your one.
See, they're very smart, they're intelligent. Okay. They know. You can enter as many times as you wish. And remember, we're on YouTube as well. So we're on YouTube, we're on Facebook, we're on the Flowery Fun group, we're on the Kay's Flower School page. Where else are we doing?
We're on the Wedding Bouquet training page.
Wedding Bouquet training page. You probably don't realise we have all these pages, you know the way. So you can always go back afterwards and you can follow all them pages as well. Now, I'll hold this up in a second for you. But what I'm doing is I'm kind of like resting some pieces of greenery all along the bottom of the basket. And as you can see, they're all trailing. And all these pieces of greenery are all going in your direction. So there's nothing at my stomach, okay? My stomach is actually fairly big. I'm not pregnant, okay? It's just after the holidays of eating, drinking, sitting on my arse, sunning myself, you know, that
getting no stripes.
Getting no stripes, showing the booby doobies off. I put on a couple of pounds. So I'm going back to the gym tomorrow. So if Wayne Finnerty is watching, 10:30, 11:15, I'll be back up in Eileen Dempsey's son. So I'll just hold that up there just to kind of give you an idea. That's kind of like the effect that I have so far.
Just come on back into the middle of Italy. Yeah, that's it. Perfect. Yeah.
See, you're kind of crooked. I don't know how I'm kind of. I look like I'm offside here. So next stage of this arrangement is the piece of floral foam that's near my chest, okay, near my stomach, right? So what I have here is a couple of smaller pieces of greenery. To save time, I have them cut because there's a bit of work in this arrangement. That's why we're giving away the free online tutorials, you know, that way. And remember, to enter, all you have to do is say, where was I on my holidays, okay? And I wasn't pretending to be anywhere or letting on to be anywhere. So on this side of the floral foam, but still with the greenery facing in your direction, I'm just going to do a row of small pieces of greenery going all the way over to one side.
To the side, Janette,
okay.
So you can get better view. Yeah, that's better, yeah.
Kind of meeting the handle on that side, and then kind of similar over here, like all the way kind of to the middle. I'll turn it around kind of backwards in a second for you and let you see. So just a few like small little pieces of greenery. I'll just show you now what I mean. Now, I know you're going to be looking at that piece of floral foam and you're saying, oh God, like what's she going to do about down there? Hold on for a little while, okay? And I'll turn it around to you that way that you're kind of looking at it and you can see there's a big lump of floral foam looking at you. So what I have here now is some medium pieces of greenery, and what I'm going to do with all the pieces of greenery looking in your direction, I'm just going to camouflage, you know, that way. Or because we can't spell camouflage here at the flower school, we always use the word cop on spots. So a cop on spot is when you see like a piece of floral foam there and you say cop on and do something about it. Cop on is another Dublin word, probably a good Irish word, I'd say. Is Avril there? How do you spell cop on? Because if Avril keeps getting all the spellings right tonight, I think she might
if she behaves herself. Yeah,
absolutely.
Joe Bathurst, Janette, wants to know: have you ever had someone come up to you while you're topless and recognise you on holidays?
No. They probably look and say, the state or Jane Mac. Absolutely. But I tell them the story about what happened, Tom.
He'd kill you.
He'd absolutely kill me. So we were on holidays, okay, and at home we always set the alarm going to bed at night time because that's what you have to do in Dublin because you could be robbed, you know, that sort of thing. The feckers would get a break into your house. So we set the alarm anyway, going to bed one night. Didn't bring any water to bed. Well, this is what it looks like so far, by the way. Didn't bring any water to us, and about 3 o'clock in the morning, Tom decided that he'd get up and he'd get a bottle of water, and he had to go out to the outdoor fridge to open the bottle. To get the bottle of water, and he was showing his booby doobies, okay? He was topless, okay, when he was going out. So while he forgot to turn off the house alarm, the alarm went off, but the alarm system takes a photograph of you. So I don't know whether he was that way or what he was anyway, but this thing took photographs from 2 angles, and then this speaker talks to you in feckin' Spanish, looking for the password to turn off the alarm. Obviously, you know what I mean, they're taking a photograph of the robber, but anyway, it wasn't the robber. So, of course, I'm in bed, and he's roaring the password up, but he's in such a panic over it. He's saying it real fast, you know, that I can't give you the password in case anybody breaks into the house. They know the password. But he was saying it real fast. And, of course, I'm in bed in fucking knots laughing, you know, under the covers, because knowing exactly what's happening, because I could hear him saying, oh, fuck, you know what I mean, the photograph, and then, oh, fuck, the photograph came from the other side. And he's saying the password in a panic. You're once speaking to him in Spanish. The only Spanish we knew was amigo and ole and adios, you know, that way. I tell you, we laughed about it so much. He's not going to, and he never watches me on the Facebook, so we're absolutely grand. Good job. So that's our greenery done in the basket so far. And yes, we do have a big baldy spot on that side, but that's part of the arrangement. Now, what I'm going to use for the flowers tonight is Lysianthus or Eustoma. And if you've been watching, I did buy, well, actually, Deirdre did buy the Gladdies in for me, because originally I was going to do it on the spray tray, but because the online tutorial was on the spray trays already, I said I'll do it on a basket just to show something different.
Did you know Thomas the letting on robber?
Absolutely, it was a letting on robbery, was it? So I'm going to use the Lysianthus instead of the Gladiolis, okay? And then as kind of like a filler, because you know the way you kind of get a pain in your ass with jip, don't you? You know that way. So I'm going to use the Tanacetum. It's kind of like a September flower, but just be very careful if you're using this. Some people, I'm not, but some people are allergic to this. So if your booby doobies were out on show or any other little bits of it, you could get a little bit itchy with it, you know, that way. So just be careful. It is beautiful, like if you're looking for that kind of like wildflower effect, or anybody that's watching that does wedding bouquets, but again, the bride could be allergic to it. So I'm going to start off with our Lysianthus. Now you might look at these and you might think, God, she's 2 bunches here, but they're actually not. They're all the 1 bunch. But on each stem, you can see there's pink ones and kind of like a blush pink or nearly white. Now, them paler ones won't go dark. They'll stay like that with the 2-tone. So there is going to be a 2-tone arrangement. So I have to say there, Deirdre.
Sinead McCarthy says, she says, I have to leave you, so I have to go to the gym, but you have me in stitches. And I go,
oh, hey, Sinead, how are you?
My bottom thinking about Tom. Jesus, Sinead, whatever you
do. Don't say to him, if you ever see him up in the gym, he would absolutely crack up the gym.
That's at least in the evening when we're on after the watershed.
This is it, yeah. Who's watching Love Island, by the way? Anybody watching Love Island? Because when we were planning, say, tonight's live, you know, the way Deirdre said, we better come on at 7:30, she said, because they'll all be tuned in at 9 o'clock, you know what I mean, for Love Island. But isn't it just feckin' brilliant? I'm absolutely loving it, I have to say. Loving it, I am. The crack is 90. So what I started off with is a long flower, you know, down where I started off with the pieces of, with the long piece of greenery coming away from myself and just kind of getting a few flowers here to kind of like similar lengths.
There's a few that asking me how did I get on in my holidays, Janette?
Yeah, well, you see, you went live all the time, so they all knew how you got on in your holidays.
This is it.
She had an amazing time, didn't you? You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Kids had an absolute ball because Deirdre only has one little girl, Cara. So the other little girl was my niece, actually Tom's niece from Sligo. Aisling. So Deirdre brought along Aisling, she did, and they had an absolute ball, the two of them, and jumping out on that. I'd love to be on that bouncing castle.
Well, I tell you, they actually put a video up today, and you wouldn't want to be on it today. You want to see it, the waves and it thrown all over the place where it was closed. And now, see, I don't watch Love Island, so now I'm getting comments in. I adore Toby.
Oh yeah,
the series.
But you know what? He
so
was a bit of this. You know, at the beginning, Toby had never had a relationship.
Okay.
But by God, did he make up for it in Love Island? You know what I mean? And he's like a frog hopping from one girl to another. He is, you know that way. My favorite is Teddy. I just think Teddy is absolutely gorgeous. I love him, and I'm not mad about Faye. I think he could do better, you know that way. But Toby, I just thought he was gas. Talk about coming out of himself. So I'll hold this up now in a second. And
yeah, you might
let
just
you know.
You keep going back over, Janette. Move back over again.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, that's it. Perfect.
Okay. So I'll hold this up kind of on an angle so you can see it. So I have this long flower coming out, a flower on either side of the handle, and again some flowers resting along, trailing over the edge of the basket. Very similar to how I done the greenery, because to be honest, it's not that it's very similar. It's exactly the same. So what I'm now going to do is I'm going to cut a couple of small flowers. I will turn this basket sideways for the next stage. Do you remember the way kind of near my belly, you know, and as I said, the belly is big enough. I had a row of flowers kind of like along the edge of that part of the arrangement, and I had them all kind of like pointing on an angle. But I'm going to do very similar now, right? So
a couple of people seem to like Teddy.
You like Teddy?
Yeah,
he's gorgeous.
Do you know, I think Love Island is a bit of a love-hate. Either watch it and you're mad about it, or you don't. You're like me, you don't watch it.
Yeah, but you know, you kind of get stuck into it, and it's a bit like, you see, I would be a Big Brother, you know, addict as well.
I would have been too. So I don't know why I'm just.
It's actually very like, it's kind of like, but the only thing about them is, like, at the end of the day, they don't show any bitchiness with the girls. Now, can you imagine 6 girls sleeping in the same bedroom, you know, that sort of way, and all looking at each other, and you're my sister, and all this sort of shite, you know, that sort of way. Don't you know?
Maybe, and they're being cynical. Maybe they do just get on, Janette.
No, they don't. It's not possible. It's not possible. So you can see there what I've done is I have the flowers. Can you see that on camera there? Yeah. Kind of going in on an angle. And again, what I want them kind of is joining over up to the corner. So I'm just going to add this flower in on that corner there. You see, just to bring it across. And actually that corner there is actually okay, it's grand, and there's a little bit of a gap here in the center, so I'm just going to get a smaller flower and we're going to stick them in. And should these little buds with the Lysianthus, you know what I mean, the same sort of effect. Now I know if any of the students are watching that have done the Mock HandTied with me, you might say, God, you're not doing any of your numbers. No, there isn't time today, but they're all the numbers, all the points, all the techniques is all covered in the online program, you know that way, on a much slower scale with a lot more details, you know that way. So, you know, I mean, you'll be able to see it there. So the next thing I'm on is, remember with the pieces of greenery, and I had all the greenery kind of going in on an angle, you know, again, everything is more or less facing in your direction. How are they going on the quiz or the answers? Are they
they're gone quite now, but we have a good few. I've actually, do you know what? Yeah, I have a few names already, but I might get a few more in.
Okay.
Somebody said that they prefer to watch you than watch Love Island. So I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
I could get Tom on here, couldn't I? Time to go out and get a bottle of water in the fridge. He wouldn't have the same body now as the ones on Love Island, I have to say. And this one is sticking up too high, so I'm just going to lie that down kind of like slightly. So the technique is kind of like, you know what I mean, but you see the way I'm like stepping up the flowers slightly, and they're kind of getting that little bit shorter. But all the flowers, well, depending on what way I suppose you're going to hold your arrangement, but in our case today, all the flowers are kind of looking in your direction. So again, remove any leaf off the end of the stem before you stick it in. And Lysianthus leaf is not too bad for lasting, but you will find your arrangement will last longer if there's less foliage in it. Now I have to just turn it around to me just for a second, just have a look at this.
Can we get Tom on? We might sell a few tickets. He's going to go mad if he finds it. He's going to go mad.
Absolutely. But you know what you could do is when you have to go on Instagram. Actually, he has a Facebook page as well. So my son runs his Instagram page for the business, Mitchell McAdams. So maybe Sinead, if you're watching, you might tag it there and go over and give him a big follow, you know the way, and ask him, did he turn off the alarm at last? And then make sure that you say España and a little bit of Spanish. Hola. Hola is hola. I always thought it was hola.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. And amigo, and what other Spanish words do we know?
Au revoir.
I'm sure. Au revoir, amigo, adios. C is yes, you know that way. So I'm just filling a few more of the flowers in, kind of from this angle. I need a little bit more, but just so that you can see.
Oh, it's kind of just moving back into the middle again. Sorry. Yeah.
So just something to kind of keep an eye on. This one is sticking up a little bit too tall, right? Is that you're kind of getting a fall on it. Can you see the way it's falling down? And can you see the way this one is sticking out like a spare flower? So I'm just going to take a little bit off it, chop it off, stick it back in again. So can you see the way I'm getting the flow? Now I need a little bit more filling in. So I'm just going to look at the arrangement myself from this angle, fill in a few more before I fill in the Tanasutium. So again, include any of the little buds. I always think these are great. You do find if anybody is making a flower arrangement to give to somebody as a gift, it's really important to include the buds, okay? And even though with some of the Lysianthus buds, they don't actually open for you, you know the way they kind of like stay closed. But the thing is, the public always feel when they see buds, they always feel that an arrangement is really, really fresh, which it is. Like this is really fresh. But say like in 10 days time, then buds will still be there, nice and small and nice and tight. So in 10 days time, the customer feels that the arrangement is still really fresh and that has lasted for ages. So that's why Lysianthus is a good flower. And to be honest, it is quite a long lasting flower. It is a good flower like to use. Beautiful in wedding bouquets as well. For the moment, I think I nearly have enough there. Okay, so this is what it's looking like so far. Actually. So you can see what I meant.
I'm sure they're all sort of saying like, what are you going to do on the
other side? Okay, so for the moment, you know the way I'm always throwing the rubbish in the bin. Don't throw the rubbish in the bin, okay? I know I'm always getting people giving out to me and saying, God, Janette, you're not very environmentally friendly. Well, by God, am I going to show you environmentally friendly tonight, okay? So don't throw your rubbish in the bin. So now I'm going to add a little bit of filler. Now listen, if you can't get this, this is available all the year round. It lasts 7 to 14 days. It does have quite a thin stem on it, you know what I mean? So you will find if you're a little bit inexperienced doing flower arranging, you might find it a little bit hard to insert into the floral foam. Do you know that way? But just hold the end of the stem, you know that way, nice and secure as you stick it in.
Leanne was on and she's enrolled on module 1 in September, and she says, will she be making this one on module 1?
No, this one is actually part of the module 2, you know, that sort of way. And I know when you're probably watching here and you say, God, like that looks easy, you know what I mean? I might as well be honest and say this isn't one of the easier arrangements. And that's why, like, there's no point in me kind of going into all the little detail and the tips and tricks, because it would take me probably 2 or 3 hours to teach it, you know what I mean, as a class. So it's just kind of to give you a little bit of a taste, and that's why we said as a prize that we'd give away a few of the free classes, you know, that way that people could then download it. And when you download the free class, you get 30 days access to it, you know what I mean? So you'll be able to watch it for 30 days. Well, you won't watch it for the whole 30 days, but you know, like, we want you to watch it and then go and get the materials, because with all our online tutorials, we go through exactly what we're using. I'll turn this around just to let you see it. We go through exactly what ingredients, and we call it ingredients, like your stem count, exactly what we're using, what it costs, you know, that way when you're buying the flowers. Like, to give you an idea, just in case anybody's watching for this one, well, I presume there was 190 watching there. How are we going?
We're up to 244.
I hope we're getting 244 shares. Remember, I want us to be shared, okay? And obviously follow all our pages. So
somebody, Lindsay, just said, hang on a second, what did she say? She says she just went over and followed Tom on Instagram and said hello, or hola, H-O-L-A.
Fair play to you, Lindsay. I think Lindsay deserves the prize for that.
I think so too, yeah.
So absolutely, I'll tell you, he'll crack up, he will. But Ben is actually my son who does the Instagram page. They also have a Facebook page, you know, that way as well. But
here, we're not here to promote them.
You have to support my husband. I'm only back from holidays, you know. Be all right on the night. So what I've used is 10 stems of Lysianthus, and I probably have used about 6 or 7 stems of filler, but what you can use instead of it is a little bit of wax flower or a little bit of jip if you prefer the jip, or September flower would be something else that you could use, or limonium or the status, you know, that way you could use any of them at all. You will find if you're to keep this or to prolong the life of this particular flower, remove as much foliage as possible and change the water as often as you can. And as I did say earlier on, some people are allergic to it, you know what I mean? So just be careful. If you find yourself itchy and scratchy, you know, that way, your chances are you're possibly allergic to it. So again, you can see the way I'm kind of keeping this nice and wild for the moment. Now, we talked about the rubbish and this big lump of oasis that's sticking out on this end. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to cut up all the rubbish and make some stalks, okay? So these are supposed to be the stalks off the flowers. But it's not that they're supposed to be. They are the feckin' stalks off the flowers, you know what I mean? So it is the rubbish off the flowers. So you can see what I'm doing here is I'm just cutting them up, okay? Not, you know, random lengths, you know what I mean? Because in a proper hand tied, now remember this is a mock hand tied, and anybody that's joining us, you need to watch it on the replay. But mock means letting on, and we've even put in the spelling of letting on. So letting on kind of means pretend.
Sorry, Janette, and Colette just wants to know what date is module 1 starting.
Module 1 is starting on the 15th of September. Okay, so that's about, what date are we on today?
10th, is it? 11th?
No, I came back on the 10th, 11th, 12th. So nearly a month away, really, nearly a month away. It's a 4-week online program. And you get full access to over 10 different tutorials. But the great thing about it with all our programs is we supply you with all your flowers, not the one tonight, by the way, but we supply you with all your flowers, all your materials, your scissors, your florist knife, absolutely everything is supplied. And I think probably the whopper of that course is everybody gets a fresh flower delivery. The best thing to do is, if I get Janette to put the link for module 1 in the comments, click on it, because there's 2 or 3 free videos that you can watch over there. And it literally explains the structure of the program, exactly what you get, what's included. The only thing that you have to buy yourself are buckets. And anybody from the country, any calf milking buckets or sheep dip buckets, they will do. All you're looking for is 10 buckets to store the bunches of flowers and the bunches of foliage that we send out to you. So here is my letting on stems. They're not letting on stems. They are actually the stems off the flowers. You know that way. Go on.
Lindsay says module 1 was brilliant. Absolutely loved it. The live tutorials, the group buddies, and Christmas. Christmas doesn't compare to the flower delivery, the first flower delivery.
I know, the flower delivery just be amazing, doesn't it?
Just move over again, Janelle. Okay. Move back over. Yeah, that's it.
So you can see what I'm doing here is I've just put in a row of stems, you see, along the very bottom of the arrangement, and then stepped up a little bit, you know, that way, again, just slightly kind of on an angle. And I'm using some of the skinny stems and I'm using some of the thicker stems, no particular pattern, do you know that way? It's whatever kind of comes to hand. I'm not worried about the stems all being different lengths at the moment. Now, I know with a real hand tied, this is a letting on hand tied, okay? With a real hand tied, you would be cutting all your stems the same length. I possibly won't cut these. I'll actually trim them. You know, I'm not going to trim them. I'm not actually going to trim them. I'm going to leave them as they are, kind of like irregular lengths. Because again, this is a letting on hand tied. It's not a real hand tied. But the effect is that when you're looking at it sideways, that you're getting the effect that it looks like a bunch of flowers resting in the basket. What's it looking like so far?
Fab, yeah, absolutely
okay,
gorgeous.
So just adding in
the Flower Studio by Lee said again she loved module 1. Absolutely highly recommended. Book it, ladies, you won't be disappointed. You know what, we always get amazing testimonials, don't we? And we do have a testimonial page.
We do. We have a fabulous testimonial page on the website. Sinead, if she's watching, she'll put maybe the link in the comments. And just go over and now we did have to pay them all a brown envelope, you know that way. It was very expensive to get this feedback, I'm only messing. But the feedback that we get from the students and the overseas students, and I'm going to say the foreign students where English wouldn't be their first language, you know that way, or, you know, I mean, people that maybe had learning disabilities. We have had all types on the course. If there's anything that you're a little bit nervous about or a little bit unsure about, just give me a ring and we can have the chats, you know that way, there's no problem. A little bit of moss here.
Vanilla says, now I get it. Obviously when you stick the stems in.
There you go, you see, can you see what I mean by letting on hand tied? So what I'm doing is I'm breaking up bits of moss now and I'm hiding the piece of floral foam. Do you see that was in there? I'll just turn that back around to you there for a second. Can you see the way the moss now is hiding the floral foam? This is fresh moss, but it's dried out. But the idea would be, good job, have my apron on. The idea would be that you pour water on top of the moss, okay? Moss is a natural sponge, so it will naturally take up the water, you know what I mean, second time, third time, so on. And it keeps the flower foam hydrated. Now, to keep it kind of pinned on, you could use what I'm calling German pins. Now, they come from the UK, but they must have slipped in before Brexit. So German pins are mossing pins. Probably most florists call them mossing pins, but gas, when I trained, we always called them German pins. So all they are is bits of wires bent over, okay? So any odd little bits of wires that you happen to have left over, because I always tell the students, I get them to be really economical, environmentally friendly, you see? Bend the pieces of wire over in half, and you see the way you can make your own German pins as well.
Julie, no, hang on a sec, sorry, yeah. Julie says she really wants to do one of the courses, but she's worried where would she get the flowers from as she lives in Canada. We've 2 girls on Canada starting module 1.
From Canada already on the module 1, and we've had a couple of people from Canada already, can't think of their names. So that isn't the problem. There's wholesalers all over the world. And believe it or not, like the Holland or, you know, the Dutch suppliers, they can actually get the flowers quicker to America than, I'm not sure about Canada, but definitely speed-wise, they arrive in America quicker than they arrive in Ireland. So that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where you are.
Lisa said you make it look so easy, but I'm sure it's a different story when you go to make it.
It is a different story, and that's where the online step-by-step tutorials, just in case anybody is watching here and saying, oh God, like I'd never be able to keep up with her there. It's not like that when you're actually doing the commercial program. It's all much, much slower, much more detail. You are provided with the exact same flowers, the exact same material, the same basket, the same flower foam, the same moss, the same greenery. You're supplied with the exact same materials. So it's a bit like colour by numbers. Is you watch the tutorial, you shut me up. It's the only time you can shut me up. Pause, you know, mute, copy, and then play another bit, shut me up again, do another little bit, you know what I mean, play it again. And again, like most of the students, we always recommend them to watch the tutorials at least twice before they actually go to make it. And they take all their notes and they take all their diagrams, and there's notes provided.
Just clear off the table there, just to show, it's all the rubbish is there to show it off.
Will it go into the magic bin?
Go into the magic bin.
Yeah. There we go, all down into the magic bin. So like we do teach all our students about these magic bins that you get that completely surround. I'm not finished, by the way. They completely surround your whole table. I've no kitchen towel here, so I'm going to have to use a face mask. Okay. So there you go. We do provide face mask, obviously, for wiping down your table into the magic bin. There we go.
And Dee Walsh says every module is absolutely amazing. She did all 4 and wish you could do it all over again. So easy to learn with the girls. Thanks,
next thing we need is a little bit of raffia ribbon. I was kind of mixed and kind of saying, would I go for the pinks or would I go for the natural?
I do the raffia.
Go for the raffia. Okay. Hessian.
Hessian.
So Hessian has a little bit of lace on it. So again, it's our collar bow. You know the ribbon where you wrap it around and you're making like the breast cancer bow. That's probably the easiest way to explain it.
Yeah.
And again, we have lots of tutorials, all free tutorials on the YouTube channel, how to make bows. So again, I'm just bringing the back part in. I'm squashing it in nice and tight in the center. I'm using a 20 gauge wire. A 22 is much easier because it's lighter, okay? So wrapping the wire around the middle, pinching it nice and tight, and wrapping one wire around the other. And just the 2 ends of the piece of wire where it just cuts straight across, I'm just going to fold them in half, and I'm going to do a 45-degree cut. They call it, is it a duck's tail? Some second word, can't remember anyway. But anyway, you get that, the dovetail, I think is the proper name for it, you see at the bottom, and it just makes it a little bit fancier, but it also stops the ribbon shedding when you do it that way, or fraying kind of is the word rather than shedding. Just all this COVID shedding.
I know,
getting all mixed up. How's everybody going? Who's waiting still on their vaccination? Who wants a vaccination? Who's still waiting on a vaccination? And speaking of vaccinations, do not go on your holidays unless you have your COVID EU cert. The amount of people that we met that couldn't leave, you know, that way, couldn't get home to Ireland because either they couldn't get a clear PCR test or they hadn't got the COVID cert, you know what I mean? So it meant that they had to spend another week or 10 days, you know, in Lanzarote. I was half hoping that I tested positive. I wouldn't want to come home. I didn't want to come home. So the wire that's at the back of the bow, you can see there, again, I just done it without thinking. I bent the wire kind of up at the end, made like a little hairpin bend. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick this wire down into the moss, okay? So what I'm trying to do is our Mock HandTied Bouquet, that it looks like our bouquet of flowers is tied, you see, with a bow, and we have our stalks coming out one end and our flowers coming out the other end. I just want a little bit more filler, so just sorry.
Just while you're doing that, Valerie just wanted to know, on the module 1, can she watch it at any time that she wants to watch it, or does she has to watch the lives at a certain time?
No, you can watch it at any time, like 24/7, okay? We won't be there live 24/7. So the way it normally works is every morning, Monday to Friday, we do a live chat. So it's kind of like a live Q&A. You know, if you were doing any course and when you arrive into the classroom the next day, or whatever it is, the teachers always say, and how did you get on? And Deirdre, how did you get on with your homework last night? And was there anything worrying you, or anything you'd like me to go back over? Or have you any questions with the tutorials that you did last night? Now, like school, there'll be ones that didn't do any feckin' homework last night, and that's allowed as well. That's absolutely fine. But you know that every morning at 9 o'clock, you have your live Q&A session with your teacher to discuss, ask questions, get help and get support. And then throughout the whole day till 3:30, so we normally kind of go 9:30 to 3:30 every day, we have, like, say, a Q&A box posted where we just say the girls from Canada is where they can tune in at night time, watch them live classes because they're probably in bed. They can post any of their questions in the middle of the night, people that are working or minding kids or whatever, and all them questions are all dealt with the next morning on the live Q&A.
Okay, we have our winners.
Have you? Many did you go for?
10.
10, for fuck's sake, Deirdre. My husband's out there breaking his feckin' chest, trying to earn a few bob, and you're giving away courses. Good, don't you think now we're here for nothing? Are you sharing?
Jay just wants to know, could you use any flowers to make this arrangement? My grandma loves roses.
Oh, roses will be fabulous.
Actually, the demo is
the
roses.
Demo class, yeah, that on the, if you're one of the lucky 10, it's done in roses and spray roses. You know the way, so roses, spray roses, baby carnations. If you want to do kind of a cheaper version of it, baby carnations are, like, you know what I mean? I know, like, carnations are actually back popular again. They're real trendy again. Again, once people are short of a few bob, isn't it? Carnations come back on trendy again.
Okay, so our winners on YouTube are Ranny Doris, Lolly M, and Caroline Keegan. So we had 3 winners on YouTube.
Oh, Jenny.
And we had 22 people watching on YouTube. So
Jesus,
that was
done
a
well.
ratio.
Jesus, that was a good
ratio.
percentage.
So Ranny Doris,
drop us an email and we'll send you the codes.
3 o'clock tomorrow.
Yeah, after 3 o'clock tomorrow, it won't be dealt with. You know that way. So get in tonight. We won't deal with it tonight. We'll deal with it in the morning. So drop us an email, info@flowerschoolireland.com, and we'll send you all the instructions to download your course tomorrow.
On Facebook, we have Lindsay McLaughlin, we have Fanula Russell, we have Mandy Rawson. I think she was on Facebook as well, and Andrea Mulhall.
And what about Avril? The speller.
I haven't got for you.
Oh, you haven't got for you.
Instagram. Don't be rushing me.
Letting on this doesn't move out to
Jesus, as soon as she comes back, she starts
okay, so all them winners there.
And hang on, we're not on our Instagram then. So our Instagram winners is Joyce Dunna and Corcoran Tina and Avril Malloy. Wasn't it Malloy?
It was Avril Malloy.
Yeah, Avril Malloy. So I'm just going to call the names out again. Ranny Doris. Oh, Life at Carol Shaw. She was a winner too.
Oh, hey Carol, how are you?
So Ranny Doris, Life at Carol Shaw, Lindsay McLaughlin, Fanula Russell, Andrea Mulhall, Joyce Dunna, Corcoran Tina, Mandy Rawson, Lolly M, and Caroline Keegan, and Avril Malloy.
There you are, calling out all the names. So you're all winners of our standalone online program. You did really well. Remember, there was only supposed to be 3 giveaways tonight, and Deirdre has.
So the email is info@flowerschoolireland.com. Do it now. Email it now, and I'll enroll you tomorrow.
Yeah, because after 3 o'clock tomorrow, snooze you lose. That's gone. Another Dublin saying, okay? Snooze you lose. And then anybody on Instagram, pop over to
Emporium.
My page.
Kay's Online Flower School.
Kay's Online Flower School on Instagram, and you'll see the poster I have, like with the scented candle, and all you have to do is share the post or tag somebody underneath, or go over and tag Flourish Emporium. And what I'll do is tomorrow then I'll pick a winner then, and we can stick that in the post.
Oh, and the answer was Lanzarote.
Oh yeah, well, I presume they knew that.
I presume they knew that.
Told them fecking.
Well, nobody got it wrong.
Nobody got it wrong. Board Falche for Lanzarote. Board España. Okay, hope you enjoyed that tonight. Anybody that's watching this on the replay, feel free to comment. There's obviously, you can't enter the competition, snooze, you've lost, but you can still pop over and be in with a chance to win the candle. We are definitely going to be on again next week, aren't we?
Yeah.
And we're going to go for an evening class again. Don't know what our plan is going to be or what the arrangement is going to be.
Because we're doing a few little visits during the next week.
Yeah, with a few little
surprise,
like little school trips. You know,
school
you're in
trips,
school.
yeah.
You know the way you went on a school trip. So we have a couple of school trips planned during the week, and sure, no doubt Deirdre will bring us all along live. You know the way, and video as you go along. If you're still watching, click share. Share as many times as you want. Give us lots of thumbs up. Share the love. Really appreciate everybody watching. Off you go and watch Love Island. And sure, listen, we'll talk to you all again next week. So listen, goodbye, good luck, and talk to you all very soon. Bye-bye.